San Andreas, or San Andreas, I don't care, I'm gonna say San Andreas, is a disaster movie from the director of Journey to the Mysterious Island and Cats and Dogs, The Revenge of Kitty Galore. Oh boy, we're in for quite a ride. Yay! It stars The Rock, and he's a divorced father who basically has to save his family during a disaster, and there's this scientist played by Paul Giamatti who's trying to predict what's going to happen during this earthquake, and that's pretty much it. Do you really want to know that much about this movie? As soon as you see the trailers, you're going to know whether you want to see it or not, because if you want to see a disaster movie, then you're going to go see it. If you don't want to see it, then you're not going to go see it. That's what disaster movies do. And the trailers for this movie actually look kind of good. I like The Rock. He's actually a pretty good actor. He even officiated Nick Mundy from Screen Junkie's wedding during the press junket for San Andreas, so that's pretty cool. He's a cool guy. Respect, Rock, even though you've been in a lot of bad movies, but respect. But unfortunately, the director of this movie, who made, as I said, Cats and Dogs 2 and Journey to the Mysterious Island, hasn't really made any good movies, so yeah, you kind of know what you're expecting here. And as I thought, this is just a really dumb, really dumb, stupid, fun, action disaster movie. And if you like those kind of disaster movies, then go ahead and see San Andreas. But if you don't like that, then you can just go see Mad Max Fury Road again, because that's way better. First off with my positives, The Rock, Dwayne Johnson. He's great. He's a likable guy. In interviews, he seems like the coolest person. He's a really cool guy. And whenever he smiles, like the perfectly pearly white teeth, you just want to like fist bump him or something. Like, you're cool, man. You're cool. And that's why I like him so much. That's why I like him in this movie. And his character is the character that I actually cared for, because he actually has some drama going on, and The Rock completely sells it. Now, everyone else in The Rock's family has the same kind of drama going on, but they don't seem as likable as The Rock, because maybe they just don't have the same charisma as The Rock, and I'll get to them in a moment. The woman who played The Rock's ex-wife, she was pretty good in the movie, not spectacular as The Rock. Alexandria Daddario, however you say her name, she plays The Rock's daughter, and she's fine in the movie. She's with two other guys, brothers, and they're English, so, you know, they got the British accents, and they're fine too. And the guy who played Mr. Fantastic is fine also, and Paul Giamatti is fine. No one is as good as The Rock is my problem here. And I know I'm kind of blending the positives and the negatives here, but it's true. All the actors, they do fine in their roles. They're fine, but their characters aren't as interesting as The Rock, and they don't have as much charisma as The Rock, so I like The Rock way more than these guys. Paul Giamatti, he is a great actor, but in this movie he always sounds like he's kind of reserved. Even when he has to yell, he sounds kind of reserved. As soon as you saw him as the Rhino, you kind of knew he was, yeah, poor Giamatti. And the guy who played Mr. Fantastic in the Fantastic Four movies, he's fine, but his character is just the cliched douchebag boyfriend, you know, the boyfriend to The Rock's ex-wife. He was just the typical generic douchebag boyfriend, and that's fine, but there's nothing else like supporting his character, just that cliche, so nothing much. And the daughter in this movie is literally only there to be eye candy. Like, the first scene you see of her, she's by a pool in a bikini, so yeah, that's eye candy. And of course to move the plot along, whatever, but eye candy. Actors do fine. The Rock is spectacular, and the action is actually pretty good also. Like, the special effects, there are a few questionable shots of the special effects, but overall it actually looks really good. The building's coming down. I'm having fun with the destruction, and that's what this movie is. It's a fun disaster movie. That's all it had to be, and that's what it is. It's nothing more, nothing less. It tries to be more, and that's a problem. Because with all this fun destruction going on, like, oh man, this is so over the top and fun. I'm having fun here. But sometimes there are moments where they go a little bit too far, like, no, you don't have to go this serious. Like, stop. Like, there's one moment where this, like, old couple is, like, hugging each other just before a tsunami comes, and it's really sad. And it's like, you didn't have to do that. We already know tsunamis and earthquakes can kill people and stuff. We didn't need to just put that and go over the line, because this is just supposed to be fun. Leave this movie feeling fun. Leave this movie feeling, that was actually a pretty fun time. But then there are moments when you're just like, well, it was fun, but there were some moments where they just went a little too serious. And I think that's a problem also, is that they didn't really embrace what this movie was. Like another Dwayne Johnson movie, the Fast and Furious movies. With Fast 5, I think they actually kind of embraced what this movie series was supposed to be, and they did that in 6 and 7 too, and that's why I like those movies a lot. In San Andreas, it's entertaining, and The Rock is great, but they go a little bit too serious, and it's just, dude, chillax. And I know The Rock's character has a serious backstory, and that's cool. If you want a character to have a serious backstory to, like, that influences him later on, that's fine, but don't try to make the disaster too serious. Like, if you want to make that character have some serious parts, then fine. Don't make the disaster too serious. And there are some really, really corny lines, and some of them are actually pretty funny. There's one moment where The Rock kind of makes a pun when he, like, does this really cool thing, and I was dying. That was great. And if you've seen the movie, you know which one I'm talking about. But overall, The Rock is great, the acting is fine for the most part, and the action scenes with the disaster are fun to watch. It's just they go a little bit too serious. They try to be more than what this movie should be at times. And there's a lot of corny dialogue and some stupid moments. Like, The Rock is the only one that can get over a tsunami. Right. And some characters make some questionable choices, and some things are just like, this movie's just dumb. That's pretty much it, but they don't embrace the dumbness because they go a little too serious, and that's my big problem with this movie, is that why I didn't have as much fun as I did is because they didn't embrace it. So I'm going to give San Andreas a B-. I'm not going to give it... I was going to give it a C+, but since I was entertained for the most part, I'll give it a B-. It's just that they didn't embrace it. They need to embrace it. If, like other disaster movies, if you're not trying to be serious, if you're just going to be a fun movie, embrace it. But don't try to just go over the line. Embrace it. Like me embracing Anna Kendrick, if that was ever going to happen, ever. Embrace the Kendrick. I'm gonna stop. So if you've seen San Andreas, leave in the comments below what you thought of it. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to subscribe. I'm Jackson Fulcher. See you guys next time.